Ready to go!
Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome to another technical video today. I'm going to be breaking down for you a bit of theory on center table strength. Now, center table strength is something that I've invested a lot of thought and energy into since my loss at the Zloty Tour in 2019. To give you some context, if you don't know the type of arm wrestler I was prior to that, I was very much a defensive arm wrestler. I was someone who liked to strangulate my opponent, bleed them out, win the long game, which is great for Supermatch, particularly in the North American, Australian style arm wrestling, where you're able to establish a good amount of load. But the thing is, I got to Zloty Tour, and there was very little opportunity to actually impart load into the setup. And so what that meant for me was that I'm trying to get in, and next minute, bang, I'm just denied, taken out of my zone. And what I would say is that in the Zloty Tour, I always felt like I was forced through the circumstances of the refereeing and everything to start in a position that I just didn't feel comfortable in. I didn't feel what I would describe as secure connection to my own hand. It was off in that unknown zone. So center table strength fixes all of those problems. And center table strength, I think, is best trained in those uncomfortable zones. So the key to center table strength, or one of the benefits to center table strength, is that you can surprise the living daylights out of your opponent too, and you can get through people that are stronger than you, substantially stronger than you in all fundamentals, if your center table strength is better. So naturally, what are we talking about when we say center table strength? We're talking about the ability to win this, like the 2 degrees of movement from go, and winning that allows you to then establish a deeper and more considerably beneficial set of fundamentals. So my wrist will be deeper, my pronation will be more set, my back pressure won't be compromised, and I'll be inside my shoulder, as opposed to being wrist slightly open, palm slightly turned up, slightly separated, and slightly out here. Starting a match here versus starting a match here, in terms of when the fight actually comes to happen, man, you want to be here. So so center table strength, as I said, you will be able to beat people stronger than you. A great example of that is, for myself personally, is my recent Supermatch outings. If I look at my match against Andy Lee, he and I, in a mechanical sense in the gym, arm wrestling fundamentals, were very similar. Like pretty much on par. And yet that match looked like crazily one-sided. The next example would be my recent outing in the South Australian titles against Mario. Mario is stronger than me, I promise you. If I train with Mario and we both go like this, I can't move the dude. He just pins me, pulls through me, he giggles, does all sorts of stuff. Hi Mario, if you're watching. But I beat him quite efficiently. And the reason I beat him quite efficiently was because I got to start matches here. And I won that, and you can see Ethan, he's palm up, he's separated, and I'm in my power. So it was easy to pull through Mario in the end because of center table strength. So center table strength has a greater reward than anything else. And it doesn't mean that you have to be an offensive style arm wrestler, although it's very, very beneficial for you if you are. So how you go about making your center table strength as immense as possible, I'm going to touch on something that I learned or heard from Engin Terzi. And he talked about combining as many muscle groups and movements within your own body and targeting them against a single muscular defense of your opponent. And now what I believe that means is this is single movement. I'm just wrist flexion. And a lot of people start a match like that. They go just wrist flexion and then they get the other things. But we don't want it. And you can see I'm attacking my opponent's pronation. Another one would be I pronate and attack my wrist, my opponent's hand. Okay, that's one movement. It's not as effective as combining them. So what we want to do is we want to combine wrist flexion. We want to combine back pressure. We want to combine pronation. We want to combine all of that with body posture and side pressure all at once. So instead of just trying to get control, it's all like that off center table. And where you target it into your opponent is you decide based on their setup which is their most vulnerable vector. For Ethan, he's a tall guy. Usually for me, it's here on Ethan. I don't want to go this way because there's a risk that due to his height and his bigger hand that I lose my own connection to hand. So the most important thing is that you assess within yourself a confidence and a degree of certainty that you're going to remain connected to your hand when you go. So I've decided I'm going in this direction as the critical area that I'm going to isolate on Ethan. So I need to then posture my body in such a way that I can say, all right, if I'm going here, I also want to be able to add pronation. I also want to be able to add back pressure and side pressure. So that's going to be my shape, and I'm going to shadow box that in my mind a million times before I face Ethan. And come ready, go, it's don't move, ready, go, like that. It's all of it in one go, and it's targeting just that. And if Ethan stops it, it's in a position where he's in a bad spot. Now, of course, Ethan has the ability to do this back to me, and a good arm wrestler will, but a lot of arm wrestlers don't. I was one of them who never. And European style arm wrestling is really heavy on this. American style arm wrestling, like I said, they like to load up, and those guys are great slow pullers, great supermatch pullers. But you need to have the complete picture. So anyway, center table strength. Train it at least once a week as part of your table time. For me, once a week, I train explosive center table strength. And the reason I do that is to gain that confidence in my hand that it's going to stay with me. You want to be able to do this on someone that's stronger than you. You want to be able to know that even if it's locked on it down the other side, I can still hit and not lose my hand because I'm so aware of my own capabilities and I'm so well rehearsed in it that there's no fear in the movement. Yeah. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Go get some center table strength.
Yes, that's a man!